I just wanted to remind you guys that if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing, since it helps me a lot.
The first step is to activate your ultimate. Then you have to use idle transfiguration, aka daily touch on your opponent. Then right before you hit them, you have to make sure you use your black flash, or precisely right there. You have to make sure you use black flash, and then you get it. And then for the next step, you have to hit them with it twice for you to be able to actually get the awakening. But after you hit them with it twice, you should be able to get your ultimate. And that's it for the first tip.
Itadori.
For your next move, you have to be in Mahito's Super Awakening. This move right here is very good for escaping combos, as it has hyper armor and it prevents the opponent from hitting you with their move.
But I see a lot of people using Mahito's Awakening Black Flash Raw. An easy way to secure your awakening is simply just getting them into an M1 combo and turning your camera sideways to easily hit them.
For this next tip, if you want to get Mahito for free, just make sure you like, subscribe, and comment your username in the comment section below, because I'm going to be giving away Mahito to 5 people. Alright, let's get into the next tip.
You can not only use Focus Strike to pick someone up from the ground, but also Black Flash. And this obviously also works with multiple people at once. This makes Mahito's Black Flash the best out of them all, in my opinion. If you use your domain expansion right before your ultimate is about to run out and capture as many people as possible in it, you can get your ultimate almost or even fully back depending on the amount. I would suggest to also keep your fire arrow so you can then use it inside your domain to hit many people at once with it. I think it's also a good idea to try getting a Hakari user with Jackpot or Maharaga inside the domain, because they tank way more, allowing you to get way more ultimate bar back before the domain ends or gets broken.
World Cutting Slash will actually do less damage against multiple opponents as opposed to a single one, making it less good for mowing down mass amounts of opponents. But if you're using it against more than 5 people, just know that you'll be doing less damage overall.
If you climb up the tower in the center and then wait for people at the bottom, you can side dash down and in the same exact moment use your domain expansion. This is kind of like a domain expansion nuke, because your opponent will have no time to react at all, and if you are playing with a friend, you could get him to, as example, bait teamers there, so you will come to rescue him. If you see someone using their ultimate, you can activate yours just a little bit later. Most people will try using theirs first, but in that time you can just charge up your world-cutting slash and one-shot them, making their ultimate pointless.
Basically, when an enemy was hit by Itadori's Black Flash, they wouldn't be able to use their evasive dash to get out of ragdoll, making it easier to hit people with Crushing Blow right after. I'm able to now punish people by using a sideways dash right after they Black Flash, not giving them the opportunity to extend with an aerial Crushing Blow. The first tip has to do with Gojo's special, his ability to teleport. You're able to teleport in front of enemies to close the distance if you wish, but this is easy to predict and is easily countered by blocking. However, turning around right before you teleport will cause you to teleport right behind the opponent instead of in front of them. This allows you to surprise the person you're fighting, as well as countering them if they try to block. Some cons to this tech, however, is that you need to be quick with it, or else you'll just end up teleporting in front on them and facing the wrong way. Here's some examples of me using it against people. Make sure to turn around before the glass effect, otherwise you'll teleport in front of them. This tech is especially good against opponents who don't move as much.
Another commonly used tip is using blue and the red teleport. This allows for a lot of damage at once, making it useful in fights.
This right here is actually a very useful tip, because I always wonder how people are always attacking me whenever I'm comboing them. It turns out that they side dash into you and then they start M1ing you and there's nothing you can do about it. So this right here is a really good tip.
I'm able to punish him for using rapid punches against me by dashing sideways into him. If you don't want this to happen to you, then you'll have to try to get them to use their evasive beforehand. For example, in this clip, he uses his evasive, so I know that I can combo him freely without him escaping.
For the next tip, you can use Black Flash by using Reversal Red Max and then holding R.
This last tip is probably the best tip for Gojo. If you want to land your hollow purple every time, you use your maximum blue and then you side dash and use your domain expansion, because this makes domain expansion basically true, and this is really good because when you get them, that hit stuns them and then you just pop domain and they can't escape it.
The first tip I have is how to use Maharaga without being interrupted. Something I do is use Great Serpent up close, then fly high into the air while also facing slightly forwards. This way, the enemy takes a long time to fall, while also being thrown far away from you, giving you time to summon Maharaga.
A lot of people know this next trick, but you can store throwable items by holding them and then pressing R, and then you can use them mid-battle.
Next tip is really teaching us how to get more damage from our ground pitch, because when you pick up stuff, you can throw it at the enemy and you can get more of the stuff you actually pick up if you use the tip.
There's multiple spots that contain more parts than others. The street near the subway entrance has a lot of parts for some reason. For example, vending machines and places with a lot of furniture, like restaurants, also have a lot of parts, as well as the graveyard.
All the next few tips are about your shadow pets.
And this same thing applies for Max Elephant. This next trick is something that is well known, but not a lot of people use it. But by pressing Nue and then R, you can actually use Nue to run away, or you can go closer to your opponent and start a combo.
As this last tip that I haven't really covered in my other video. So here's a fun fact. Nue is actually blockable if it's used against an enemy in the air who is blocking. I think this is because Nue's behavior changes to guarantee hit airborne enemies, making it blockable as a trade-off.
The gambling addict Hakari. The first trick is when you use Fever Breaker, you can quickly flick your camera in the opposite direction to combo extend off of it.
Hakari's Fever Breaker move consists of 2 kicks. The first kicks you forwards, and the last, the one that kicks you through the doors, is based on the direction you're facing. Because of this, you can choose to kick an enemy into a nearby wall in Publix, or flick backwards to try and capitalize off of the distance to deal more damage. When pairing this with Rough Energy, you should be able to hit opponents while they're down or when they get up, leading to extra.
Next tip is how you can get jackpot outside of your domain.
And you have a friend outside that has Megumi equipped, you can tell them to use the domain expansion to open a hole in your domain for you to get out of. And then when you're outside of the domain, you can surprise people and get jackpot outside of your domain.
Did you guys know you can actually use this move as like a long range skill, as it's actually really good? So if you on shift lock your camera and then you can use it from far away.
Or the shutter doors will spawn right in front of you. Here's me using it in a 1v1. Lastly, you probably already know that getting Hakari's jackpot has become more important than ever to get for Hakari, since it currently gives you 75% of your bar back when you run out. To get it as quick as possible in your domain, make sure you don't use reserve balls plus shutter doors at the same time. If you don't hit somebody, both moves will be on cooldown. If there's another person in your domain, you can also use Fever Breaker or your counter on them to trigger a visual effect.
Guys, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys go and subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell, and yeah, I'll go ahead and see you guys all in the next video.
Yeah, money. You better like and subscribe. What did I do? We gaming with pride. We moving around, but we moving with stride. I never knew what else to do with my fries. I work so hard, better like and subscribe. Like, subscribe.